a lot of agents will go out and watch somebody tell the story sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who you ride with, it's like a completely different experience than the next person. Or they'll sit on the phone and this person's script is completely different than that person's script.
Right.
But I can guarantee you this. If you're sitting with two successful people, even though their scripts are entirely different, if you sat with that person for 4 or 5 days in a row, you're going to realize that they tell the same story the same way every time. They have a process. They follow a process, and it's a formula that works. The person that's not consistent is the person that's always trying something different, and 6 months later, they're no longer in the business. Don't ride with that guy.
Yes.
Don't shadow that person who's always trying to find the next best thing.
Yeah.
You got to follow someone who is consistently doing the same thing.
That's very good.
And driving results.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. I'm sitting here with the legend, the myth, Roger Short. Hey Roger, welcome to the Life Insurance Academy podcast as a special guest.
Special guest today, huh?
Special guest. It's just you and me, man.
I've been sitting in this chair.
We've been chest bumping for an hour and a half. I'm exhausted. That's weird.
It's just us in here.
Yeah.
We have no one else in here today, which means this is a special show.
This is a special show. This is special. Today, what I'd like to talk about is we're just gonna have a conversation. Four things new agents must have to win in insurance sales. Last episode, the title's pretty funny, but we'll let people see it. Last episode, Zach and I were a little bit on the hot seat of being a new agent. And, we talked about, when you start, you suck. Now, I know it was different with you. You didn't suck when you first started because you automatically, out of birth, immediately started selling things to your mother. Immediately. Just whatever you could get your hands on, the cat's tail, you were selling it to your family. You were born for sales. So I'd imagine that you never had any struggles in sales.
That's so far from the truth.
Is that true? Really?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not true.
So you had your struggles trying to figure it out. But we're going to look at four things here. But before we get into that, I guess my question for you is, you started in this a while ago, and it's amazing how much has changed.
A lot has changed, but there's a lot of things that are still the same.
Right. So let's just we're going to talk through that. Like, what are those four things? Are they still true back when you started, and are they true today?
And again, the question is the four what?
Four things agents must have to be successful. Must have to be successful. I might have said must do, but it's must have. They have to have these things to be successful.
A voice, a phone.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I mean, those are a couple, but I
something to hit a door with.
I don't think that's what you're looking for.
Maybe a foot,
a knuckle,
a knuckle, or a fist,
nub,
or a hook.
Something to knock on the door.
A shoulder.
Yeah. I don't think that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. So, like, if there were four I mean, we could really make a huge list, but let's narrow it down to four. And who knows? We'll see if if it's changed for you. Like, number one, let's go with that. What is the number one thing?
You spoke to something that was interesting. You said a lot has changed.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that are coming into the business today, especially if you've just recently found our podcast, started watching us on YouTube, you are trying to find the secret recipe, right? Everyone's always trying to find the secret recipe.
That has never changed.
No, that's never changed. How people source it has changed a little bit.
Yes.
The way that insurance sales is done has changed a little bit. COVID brought us some significant challenges and changes that were great for the business as a result of the challenges we went through. With every challenge comes an equal and greater opportunity, right? And so I think the business has morphed into a better opportunity, and it's certainly done different, and it's certainly probably been expanded to a lot more people can have success in the career now than they used to. But there's still some things that haven't changed for success, like the success factors.
Yeah, I would agree.
What are those?
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're looking for, the success factors.
Yeah, the things they got to have in there. pocket
in their pocket.
to be successful. So,
Well, you guys have all heard me say that when I started out on these pink cards.
McCreary
Right.
County.
McCreary County.
That's right.
I know you're tired of hearing about McCreary County. You can even tell the pink card story.
There were 14 burnt down hotels.
No, there was only
There was a
one.
volcano.
There was only one. I love how you like this
Embellish
story
the story.
keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's the same one. They supplement your government benefit of $255. That's what the card said as the headline. And then there was some basic language that didn't say anything
P.O.
about
boxes.
insurance. P.O. box cards. People filled out their name and number. Leads. It's the lifeblood of the business. You got to have people to talk to.
Yeah.
You got to have leads. There's people that get into these warm market builder models, and there are no leads.
Would you call any conversation a lead? Like if you're in that warm market, are you basically saying, hey, everybody's a lead? Is that the attitude? I don't know because I've never worked it.
No, me either. I mean, if you're in one of those MLM type groups and it's a builder's first model with lots of training on how to build, but not a lot of how to sell or generate leads with low comps, everybody becomes a potential prospect. I mean, you start seeing, it's like you have special goggles on, and when you go out, everybody's like, ooh, I wonder if he's a customer. Ooh, and that's weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see the world through that lens. Although I do know that everybody needs what we have.
Right.
In some form or fashion. Yeah. So when I got started, I didn't want to go through my warm market, all my family and friends, because no one knew me as the life insurance guy. I wanted to be able to create an opportunity that I could generate my own marketing and leads. And so when I found this little niche of final expense, and I recognized that there was companies that were doing direct mail to generate these things called leads, I got excited because I'm like, okay, I'm calling on people who have already expressed an interest, and I get to talk to them about it. It's not a guaranteed sale. I understand that. I got to work the numbers. But man, if I could get this recurring flow of people who are saying, yes, I want more information about burial plans or state regulated final expense or funeral costs or, funeral insurance or burial insurance, I could make that work. So leads back then, still need leads today.
Well, so the leads opportunity, and you didn't just see it for yourself. You saw there's enough opportunity out there and enough leads coming in that you can create an organization.
Correct. You can actually grow a company, a business.
It's pretty cool
around it. Yeah,
and that hasn't changed.
No, but for the new agent starting, they're not thinking about growing a business. They're just thinking about how can I make enough sales to make money.
Yeah.
To replace what I'm currently doing.
Yeah.
Or to track towards that six figures that seems so elusive.
Yeah. So the leads have changed, though. That's probably the thing that has changed
Leads
the
have
most
changed.
in the last 10, 12 years, maybe 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we have direct mail, we have digital leads, we have callback leads, we have, you name it. SEO
leads. There's all kinds of leads now that are available.
And when you started, there was just basically a flat cost to a lead, and you either had it or you didn't. You invested over a certain amount of weeks waiting for your leads to come back. If you had it, you had it. If you didn't, you didn't.
That's right.
Right? So
that's right.
It seems like there's more opportunity now.
Yeah.
Because of the type of leads that are available and different vendors. That's great. You want to find a different vendor, go for it.
Yeah.
But they range. You can find leads anywhere from $3 to $100, probably maybe $120.
Actually, I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he actually provides a high volume of leads to a couple of direct to consumer companies.
Wow.
Yeah, and they provide a high volume of leads.
Wow.
He has a pre-qualified lead, and this is what they're telling me. He has a pre-qualified lead that is actually pre-qualified to the point of underwriting's done, pre-qualification on affordability is done, and they actually select a price, and they ask if they want to proceed with the application, and the client says yes, and then they transfer it to an agent.
What?
It's like a pre-sold lead.
Yeah.
And they're like $280.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right?
Imagine. Yeah.
Each.
Yes.
And you're like, why wouldn't I just buy a lot of those? Because if your average final expense app is $700, $280 investment, you're making money.
Yeah. It's a
every
win.
time, especially, but, people look at that and go, $280 a lead?
Right.
What if they don't buy?
Yeah. And there's different mindset for people too, because
Yeah.
there are some people who typically, these are the people who win, who will say, how do I get more?
Correct.
They're saying, how do I get more? And then
Other people are going, I would never buy those.
yeah. Or how do I get
Give me
less?
the $3 ones.
Yeah.
Or how do I
Give
just
me-
buy 2 and sell 10 at
Give me
apps?
$23 ones. Right.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
So that's always going to be the case. That number one ingredient is people to see, leads. We may have some further discussions about Life Insurance Academy and
Yes.
leads in the future.
Yes.
Wink.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't know if you wanna say
So
anything
many
more
of
to
you
that.
guys reach out to us every week and ask about who the good lead vendors are. Who do we recommend?
Yeah.
Guys, we've been in this business for a long time now, and we have tried pretty much every kind of lead. And yes, we do have something very special coming
Yep.
that you'll be able to access exclusively through Life Insurance Academy to get connected to some pretty cool lead options
Yep.
for your business. So stay tuned.
So you
It's
got to
coming.
have them anyway.
And the more, the better.
Yes. I
Why
would
more?
agree.
Why the more, the better?
Because the entire industry is built on the law of large numbers.
Right. See,
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
You
So
stole it.
you guys who are taking your tests and insurance sales or taking your life insurance test, they talk about the law of large numbers, that if you put enough people in the system, it mitigates risk from loss.
If
right?
enough people are contributing
Yeah.
premium dollars in,
Yes.
there's
They're paying
benefits
into
to
this.
pay out
Correct.
because enough people are. It's kind of like what
a lot
happened
of
with
healthy people, some unhealthy people, and it mitigates the law or
Yeah.
the risk, right?
Correct.
And the same thing is true for leads. The very same thing is true for leads. If you have enough leads, it mitigates. I wouldn't say it mitigates the risk of loss. It is the same thing because you're going to win eventually.
Yeah, because there's too many
Yeah.
people asking for information that
Correct.
if you just contact those and flip over all the rocks,
Yeah.
so to speak, and
You're-
see what's under them, turn over all the cups to see if there's a prize. Under some of them, there's going to be a nice prize.
And it's typically not. And so this is going to be a risky conversation here because I'm not always the best math person. I
We
know
never
you know
have
that.
risky conversations.
This is
you
the
and
risky
I.
conversation. Okay.
Except when the
It's-
cameras and mics are off.
That's right.
Then it
It's,
gets risky.
It's exponential. Like if you say, let me say it this way: if you get 20 leads, you have a good chance of writing $4,000 to $5,000 of production, annualized premium out of that.
If you work all of the leads
If
properly
you work all of the leads,
and retire them all.
yes. If you have 40 leads, would you say it's equal to $4,000 or $8,000 of production if you have 40 leads to 10,000?
I'd
Or do
say
you
it's
think it's
more.
greater?
It's
that's
greater.
that's my question.
Yeah, it's greater.
Yeah.
However, with some agents, they actually will. You have a law of diminishing returns.
Mm-hmm.
You get to 40 or 60 or 80 leads, and they still only work there 3.5 days. Now they're writing 8,000 to 9,000 a
just-
week.
They have a stack.
They
of
got
leads.
60 leads. They don't ever get to them all, but the fact that they wrote 8 or 9 grand, they're happy. Boo, they shut
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah,
So the law of large numbers works with leads. There is no law of small numbers, people.
there isn't.
So, like, if you're trying to buy one lead and hoping to get a sale, it's going to be you're going to have skinny kids.
This ain't
You're
the
gonna have
golden
skinny
ticket. Skinny
kids.
kids. That's
Yeah.
right. It's not the golden ticket for
No.
Willy Wonka.
So you got to have a lot of opportunities. Leads are opportunities.
Yes.
So more leads means
More opportunities.
more opportunities.
Boom.
That's it.
Okay.
And if you got more opportunities, and you got a couple of these other pieces that I think you need when you're a new agent, you're going to win.
Okay. So I'm curious about
And everyone's
this for
going
you.
like this. They always say that. They always say you got
Well-
to buy more leads. Every person says you got to buy more leads. Blah, 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 blah. And then they tune out. And
Well, I
they're not.
hope
Then
not.
some people have already tuned out because they're like, "Yeah, I've heard this before. I don't want to hear them jamming that down my throat. I'm going to try to figure out my own lead algorithms
Can I say something?
and spend
about
half
that?
my
Let me-
week
let me
trying to
tell you
generate
something.
20 leads
There's a-
at 3 cents."
I've had a conversation recently with an agent. You can call me if you're this agent. Okay.
You
who-
can call me and
who-
yell at me.
Who is relatively new, within 6 months, okay? And this agent is trying to figure out how to get a list and do their own direct mail. 6 months. And trying to get enough money to do this one drop.
I wonder if they tried to get the model design for the cars to build their own car also, because that's probably a cheaper way to do it.
Yeah,
And if you go to the scrapyard and buy all the pieces and then start slowly assembling them, eventually you're going to get a car.
yeah.
They should do
And
that
I know there
also.
are agents out there who are thinking that, and they're thinking this thought when they think that, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And there are a ton of IMOs that shut down because they're trying to figure this out. There are agents who go out of business because they're trying to figure this out, because the top agents I know aren't doing that.
No.
They're buying leads.
They're investing in marketing from specialists who do marketing.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
We should probably just end it there.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. Amazon, the largest distributor in the world, right, of products and services right now that we know of. Yeah? Retail products and services. Do you know what their largest outsourced partner, other than themselves, with their own Amazon delivery trucks? Do you know who their two largest outsourced partners are for delivery?
UPS and DHL. Am I close?
UPS, DHL, or FedEx.
Yeah.
I would say, it might be three of those, right?
Right.
I don't know what order, right? We're from Louisville, Kentucky. We're at a UPS hub, so we see UPS a lot.
Represent UPS.
Yeah, we see,
that was weird.
We see UPS a lot, right?
Yeah.
So why would Amazon actually use another company's delivery services to deliver their products when they have enough money that they can do it themselves?
Because they aren't interested in. It's a waste of time and money on their side.
I mean, they have their own delivery team. It's a full division, but they still use specialists.
Yeah.
They're outsourced specialists that can also get the job done.
Well,
because their goal is to meet the consumer's demand. When they say I have a Prime account and it should be there on Monday, they want to deliver it on Monday.
Yeah.
And if they don't have enough of their own drivers, they go get UPS or DHL or FedEx to deliver it. They're not going to sit there and slow down their business and go, nope, dang it, I'm going to figure it out. Whether I got to put this guy on a bicycle and send it over there on the back. In cities, they might do that, but not in rural areas. I mean, they're going to use another specialist. Why would you do that?
Hey, new agent, stop. Just stop it. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to think that way, do it after 3 years and you've had success. You won't think that way. I promise you. You won't make those decisions. Okay. Number one, that's it. Leads, people to see.
Lots of leads.
Loads.
Give yourself lots of opportunities, and don't be trying to figure it all out yourself. Just go to some trusted sources and start flipping over rocks.
So number two, this is interesting to me. We're talking about sales. What would you say number two is? I think you know what number two is.
We're talking about sales. You got to have a process.
Yeah. So you have to have a sales system, right?
A system.
So when you started, did you have a sales system, or did you just know about sales and you just implemented what you knew about sales?
Well, but that's a fun question. I don't think I might have mentioned it briefly, but I've never expounded on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, this is fun. This answer is going to be fun.
Cool.
So, yes, I came from sales. I did sales training, business to business advertising. We did lots of that. We were highly successful. Came over here. We're now selling, business to consumer, direct to consumer. And it's this emotional sale of life insurance that has no tangible thing that you're giving them. They don't get a new car. There's no new car smell. There's no,
right.
They don't see their photos delivered to them. You're not a photographer delivering wedding photos. You're not a plumber fixing a toilet. You're not someone, doing their landscaping. You're just writing up a piece of paper with a promise, and you give them a brochure. Thanks for showing up. That's it. And it's a promise, piece of paper and a promise. So the sales process was different. And when I got in the business, I rode around with this guy, Fred, right, for 2 days. Fred didn't have a presentation piece, but he did have a presentation piece. American Amicable Life.
Oh, yeah.
American Amicable Life was one of the carriers. United Home Life, two old companies. And then there was another company called Presidential Life, was a guaranteed issue company. They've since gone out of business.
I wrote one of those.
They've since gone out, okay? American Amicable Life had a brochure. And in the brochure, it talked about the features of a guaranteed final expense plan. The guaranteed benefit. Price is never going to go up. The benefit's never going to go away. It passes on tax-free to your beneficiary.
It's like a commercial.
Cash value accumulation in there that you can access in the future. Your premium is paid. They can't cancel. That sort of thing, right? And those 5 or 6 points were in the brochure. There was some other general language about the importance of it and the average cost of a funeral. It was literally a 2-page open up a brochure. That was it. That's what he used. He used the AMAM brochure as a talking point to walk through his presentation.
Okay.
So then I said to him, what if they don't qualify for AMM? He said, I just qualify for UHL and give them the UHL brochure when I'm done. He said, doesn't matter which brochure I'm using. The benefits are the same for both companies.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, there's something to be said there. Well, I was looking at that, I was like, man, that's simple. But he does have a process. Mm-hmm. He says the same thing every time, and he uses the visual of the brochure. But what if you have more than one company or two companies or five companies, and that's not your leading company anymore? Why are you going to keep showing that one? And
it feels weird.
So from there, I actually developed my very first presentation, which was the very first iteration. I can actually take you back about 5 iterations to the very first presentation that is now in the Life Insurance Academy final expense flip chart.
That's beautiful.
And it was the very first one. I can show you. It was just black pages with white font and a couple of graphics on it with words.
Wow.
I mean, that was it. And we developed a presentation from that. But a lot of the language was stolen from the brochures.
Yeah.
Because the benefits and the guarantees were the same. And then some of the things that I found were really important to highlight, like the education piece. Mm-hmm. So the clients are making a decision for themselves, and you're actually just helping them get what they want instead of selling them something.
Yeah.
I worked that into the presentation, but it all stemmed from that. So yeah, there was a process. And even though there was no formal presentation, there was still a presentation, and he did have a process. And I would say a lot of agents will go out and watch somebody tell the story sometimes, mm-hmm. and depending on who you ride with, it's like a completely different experience than the next person. Or they'll sit on the phone, and this person's script is completely different than that person's script.
Right.
But I can guarantee you this. If you're sitting with 2 successful people, even though their scripts are entirely different, if you sat with that person for 4 or 5 days in a row, you're going to realize that they tell the same story the same way every time. They have a process. They follow a process, and it's a formula that works. Yeah. They've proven it, and they depend on it. You go to this person, they're doing the same thing. The person that's not consistent is the person that's always trying something different, and 6 months later, they're no longer in the business. Yeah. Don't ride with that guy.
Yes.
Don't shadow that person who's always trying to find the next best thing.
Yeah.
You got to follow someone who is consistently doing the same thing.
That's very good.
And driving results. So you have to have a process.
Very good. And I think that's a good story, even of how you developed. I would guess, though, I'm pretty certain of this, that you had a very good understanding of the 5 reasons why people don't buy.
Yeah.
That was a framework, mm-hmm. and that was even part of the framework of developing the presentation.
Yeah, exactly.
To what it is today.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think having
trust, need, want, urgency, money, addressing those things in the presentation.
Yeah. So that's a clear system, sales system in and of itself.
Yep. And you can go back to earlier episodes for us and look at that 5 real reasons why people mm-hmm. don't buy, and understand how those are talking points inside of your system, inside of your sales process.
So understanding your personality isn't enough. Your charm isn't enough.
Just trying to be likable is not enough.
No.
You have to have a process.
Right. Okay.
And it has to mean something. And you have to be saying words for a reason.
Correct.
You're guiding a conversation to lead to an outcome, and you're trying to handle objections before you get them. So a process will help you accomplish that.
Yeah.
And if you need a presentation, reach out to us. We got some stuff.
We can hook
and we
up.
might answer or reply sometimes. Well, at least we're trying.
We're trying here. Okay. The next one, I have seen this with new agents who get through the sales process. They practice their sales process. They've got it down. They're working their leads, and they get to the end of the sale, and they're surprised that they're closing the sale, and the whole end is foreign to them. Like they're looking at an application. They don't know which application to pull out. They're stumbling whether this person has COPD or what other health issues. Can you talk about the importance of product knowledge, carriers? I know we don't talk a lot about that, but where does that fall into this? Is that a necessity?
Yeah, I mean, back when we started, there were no online tools. We had brochures.
Yeah.
We had product guidebooks. Again, I'm going back to that American Amicable Senior Choice product. There was an agent guide that talked about senior choice, and the pre-qualifications were in there. So if they had COPD, that was a decline, for instance. If they said no to all these questions, that was approved. They had prescriptions in there. These combination of prescriptions is a decline. But if they're only taking one of these prescriptions, and this is the time frame, it's approved for a level benefit or a graded benefit or a modified benefit. And so they had guidebooks that you had to use. Well, as a new agent, when you're starting, if they're throwing 20 carriers at you and you're supposed to figure out 20 carriers, you're just like, you're killing yourself. Let me repeat it. You're killing yourself.
Yeah.
You might think you need them because every other person you talk to that's a high producer's got their favorite carrier or two as to why you need to be selling that one. And so you think you need to get all these carriers lined up. And then you've just given yourself so much. It's like taking 32 hours in a semester at college. Like, you can't do it.
You're not going to make it.
You're not going to make it. It's too much. You can't digest it. You can't consume it. You can't learn it. It's too much.
You can't speak with authority at
12
all.
to 15 hours
Right.
semester. That'll
You're
get you
good to
there.
go.
You're good.
Yeah.
You try to do 32, you're going to be fried and you're not going to have success and you will fail out.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so much you can digest. So I started with 3 carriers. And I started with using the underwriting guides in the back of those agent guides. There's no different today.
Yeah.
Today,
you can still do that.
You can still do that. So if you're in the mortgage protection space or in the final expense space, whether it's face-to-face or over the phone, land on your 2 or 3 or 4 carriers that you're going to use and learn those really well.
I think that's fair.
And then know how to do underwriting. So you may not be using the agent guides anymore or the underwriting guides. We have a lot of people still use them. However, there are other tools like insurance toolkits where you can install that software on your phone. You can access it and you can punch in the prescriptions and the medications and their health history, and it'll identify which of those 4 carriers that you're focused on, which ones they qualify for, and which ones they don't. And it helps you make those decisions very easy. So simplify your process, get 3 or 4 carriers, don't overwhelm yourself, and know how to do the underwriting so you can get people approved. So that when you get to the end, it's not like the first time you showed up at a dance.
Yes.
Right? Like at least act like you've been there before.
Yeah. The we talk about this a lot in regards to competence, the relationship between competence and confidence.
Yeah.
And if you have a working knowledge of your carriers, you can do okay. You'll do
100%. You
You'll
speak with authority.
Yes.
You speak with authority. When you start speaking with authority about the people, the company, especially if you know the reps at the company and you know some of the underwriting people at the company, or you know some of the people in contracting or agent support, you're literally talking about them and using their names with the clients.
Yeah.
Well, I have a good friend of mine in there. Her name's Jennifer. She helps me with, let me see if I can get her on the phone, see where this one's going to go. Like,
and that's even building trust further.
Yeah, that's a different type of conversation than when you're just like fumbling around and you don't even know how to say the name of the company.
Yeah, it's United of Umohe. United of Umohe. We're going to try and get you qualified for the superior benefit. That's all made up. Just get that out of there. Okay. So strong working knowledge of 3 carriers. Boom. At least 3.
We got to have like a
3 to 4.
pickup truck backing up and dumping that off and then rewinding and starting over with it edited out.
There we go. I like that.
Adam's like, man, he just gave me a giant project.
Last.
Get it out of there.
This one's kind of internal, I guess. It would be an internal thing. It can be great to have leads. You can have a stack of leads. But there's this internal thing that has to happen. What is the 4th thing that they need?
You need to be hungry. You need to be hungry and you need to be resilient. I think you have a word for that.
Grit.
Your word is grit.
That's a big one. I think it's, well, all 4 of these are big. And there's probably 10. There's probably 20. I wanted 4 so that people could walk away and know they could go out and write business this week. The grit thing is definitely something where people have to look in the mirror.
Plus, we just have way too many episodes where we're doing this.
We just wanted to
3.
add one more.
So we wanted to do one with 4.
We wanted to show you our pinky finger. But
I love when Adam gets laughing over there.
Yeah.
Adam's like, yes, everything is 3.
Grit is revealed.
Not grits.
No, they are good.
I didn't know what grits were until I came to Kentucky.
How would you define that?
Did you know that?
You didn't?
No.
That was a thing, though. They existed in Canada, I'm
No,
sure.
they don't have grits in Canada.
Weird.
It's not a thing. It's a Southern thing.
I didn't know that.
I think our people listening in Argentina and the Philippines probably don't know what grits are either. But that's different than grit. All right, let's get back on point.
Okay. How would you describe that? How would you describe grit?
Resolve in the face of adversity.
Man, that's really
Resolve in the face of
That's really
adversity.
good.
Yeah.
I'm
Persistent resolve in the face of adversity.
persistent resolve.
In the face of adversity.
Love it. There's this phrase that the kids have nowadays.
I love how you say that all
And
the time, dude.
they-
Every time you say it, you get older and
know.
older.
I'm fine with it. I'm embracing
Who's
it.
older, by the way? Who do you think's older?
We'll ask them. Who's older?
Crickets.
Who's older?
Crickets.
Adam.
Now people are confused. But when I ask the question, they automatically assume that I am because I'm the one who's asking
You're
it.
asking the question.
But if you asked it, they would probably say you.
So there's this statement the kids are saying these
The
days.
kids.
They've got that dog in them. Have you heard that? They've got that dog. Have you heard that? Adam, have you heard that? You haven't? Okay. So NBA playoffs. I've really enjoyed watching the Miami Heat in this series that's going on.
I've heard terms
Right
like bet and cap.
I don't.
Those are terms.
I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
But they got that dog in them.
They got that dog in them, right? And they've been saying that about what's his name? Great, you got
LeBron?
No, they don't say that about LeBron. I
Not
promise
anymore.
you that. No. LeBron walks back.
I know, man.
He walks back on defense.
doesn't
Don't get me started on
defend.
it. Jimmy Butler. They've been saying that about Jimmy Butler and the Heat, and there's this intensity he does not shut down. Even when they're down 15, they're down 20, they're getting ready to sweep the Boston Celtics. And I don't know about you, but when I see somebody like that, it energizes me. When you see somebody fighting through that adversity,
It makes you go and put your long, old basketball shorts on from 1982, the ones that are down to the mid calves,
it's
and shoot some threes, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You're out in your driveway at night.
I've got that dog in me.
You're out in the driveway at night at 11:30 with your long. What did I call those pants? You got some. What did I call them?
Oh, the
You got a pair of those red ones that are down like mid calf.
capris.
No, not capris.
No.
You look like a sultan.
Sultan.
The sultan pants.
That's what he calls them.
Yeah.
The long shorts.
When Chris shows
Thank
up in
you.
those, I'm
Fat
like,
Five
oh,
from
bro,
Michigan."
he's going. We're all in trouble.
Well, there's a commercial.
There's a
now.
commercial
Did
out
you
now
see it?
with Jalen
Yeah.
Rose at the end saying, the good old days.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So we got way off, but that
He's
grit-
got that dog in him.
Yeah. He's got that. Jimmy Butler's got that dog in him. You know,
Yeah.
and there's a meme that said that dog's got Jimmy Butler in him,
Like
type
the
of thing.
Chuck Norris thing.
Yeah. So I just think a lot of agents they get that initial resistance, they get that sinking feeling in their stomach, they get those questions: is this going to work? And they don't know there's a path forward. Where do you find it? Do you just have it or you don't?
You got to get around some people who are also grit, road worn.
Yeah, it's a
warriors.
culture piece.
It
don't
is
you
a
think?
culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get online. You got to start listening to some people who get in the hunt and stay in the hunt. And you got to be listening to those people.
Yeah.
I mean, Goggins. You listen to David Goggins.
Yeah.
He's intense.
Yes.
Max.
Yeah.
I mean,
You always have to say, I may not agree with everything he says.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
the disclaimer that goes with
yeah,
it.
the guy's super, super intense.
Jacko Williams.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are
guys,
like
mhm.
super, super intense.
You know, what's his name? The hip hop preacher, Eric
Thomas.
Eric
E.T.
Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys like that. I think those are good guys to listen to. But I do think you have to have people in your life like that.
Yeah.
You have to surround yourself with, because you may say, well, I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I've got that dog in me. You may be
Are
questioning.
you
it.
asking that?
No.
Do you
No,
wonder if you
trust
got
me.
that dog in
Trust me, I know I've got that dog.
you? You do?
But
You got that dog?
oh yeah.
Okay.
But I do think there's questions for people whether they have it or not, and you have the capacity. Let's say it that way. You have the ability. You have the capacity. You just need to get around the right people.
TD Jakes
Mm-hmm.
is one of those guys,
Yeah.
right? Like he used to be like a little preacher in a little church for years. And he just kept believing in the grit and the fight inside of people and how God created them to be something special. And he just kept telling the story over and over and over again. He stayed in it. Now he's one of the most sought after speakers.
Yeah.
Like there's a TD. If you guys want to listen to some motivation about grit and resolve, you got to go on Spotify, and there's a playlist. I think it's called TD Jake's Motivation. It might just be called TD Jake's Motivation. You can look it up, and there's a whole series of him, with music, and it's all about that resolve in the face of adversity and never quitting. And when everybody else is going down and telling you can't do it, you look fear in the face.
Yeah.
What did I say that one time?
Oh, I have a note on it actually.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know. I'd have to.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just smile.
Yeah, that's what it.
Yeah. And you smile and it smiles back.
Yeah, that's it.
And you just go after it. And you just got to push through. And some people don't have it. I think a lot of this may not go over well. I think a lot of the younger generation now is soft. I think they're soft.
Yeah.
I think that's why LeBron gets heat.
I do too.
Right? He gets heat. The dude he's a big man. He can throw down with anybody. But the stuff that he does and the way he flops on some of these times, it just, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like if you played basketball in the 80s, dude, you're going home with stitches and no one's getting fines.
And you saw,
Like
there was
Bill Lambier, like full on swings.
Right.
These guys went at it. Detroit Pistons. These guys grit and
the great thing
resolve,
about
and
though
I
what
think
you're
a lot
saying,
of young people got soft. Go ahead.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
The beauty of that is it doesn't, when you see it, it's real. Like now, when you see it, you see it because of how soft the time is. We've created this environment, and we're really going off on this, but if you look at the NBA, it is different because there's no hand checking. You could push a guy while he's driving to the basket, all that stuff, and now it's gone. They want to see more scoring, whatever. But it's symptomatic of the age of this day and age.
Let's get back to some hockey, man. Hockey's the only sport that stayed true.
That's right.
Let's throw down gloves, square it off.
And it's so strange that that's just accepted.
Well, there's UFC, there's MMA, there's hockey.
Yeah,
come on, guys.
Yeah.
Basketball. Come on.
Yeah, get tough.
There's just, and I think a lot of young people grew up soft. I think, and like I'll put it on my generation.
Thanks.
We wanted a better.
Our generation,
we wanted a better childhood. We wanted a better experience for our kids than the ones we had.
Yeah,
and we made them soft.
We gave the participation trophies.
And then all these people are out. Yes, let's celebrate everyone. And it's just sickening.
And this is the result.
And you get 24-year-old grown men in their mom's basement still playing Call of Duty,
giving advice to other people on what they should be doing with their lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's like 20 streamers that are making a lot of money doing that, and then you got millions of people thinking, well, I'm just like him, when they're not at all.
Yeah.
They're not. And we got softness. And so I think a lot of people, when they get in this business, at the first sign of adversity, they run and tuck.
Yeah.
Or tuck and run.
And there's another part that ingredient I would say to grit that activates it would be a clear vision of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Because if there's a fight, there has to be something worth fighting for. Yeah, you have to have that. So
if it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, why even play the game?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. So you got to know why, and you got to get around some other people who won't let you buy your own excuses.
Who will tell you the truth.
And it will be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always say we meet people where they're at. We help them identify a vision, help them get where they want to go, and expand that vision along the way. But we're going to tell you the truth. When you're sucking, we're going to tell you that you suck.
Yeah. When you're not working, we're going to tell you you're not working.
Yeah. When you're trying to work the law of small numbers on leads, we're going to tell you that you suck and that you're soft.
Yeah.
And to get resilient. Yeah. You need leads. You need a sales system. You need to simplify your process, know your carriers.
Yep.
And then you need to have resolve, consistent resolve, persistent resolve in the face of adversity, and push through until you learn.
Yeah. You can do
Then-
anything for.
Then you will have something.
You'll win. You can do anything for a year. Anything. You can do anything for 2 years. So if you can commit to that and commit to these 4 things, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Sound good?
And guys, I know when you watch these episodes and listen to our podcast, you're like, I wish they would give more tangible stuff about how to handle the objection and how to handle the rebuttal. I will tell you, if you do these 4 things first, the rest of it will work itself out. Yes, we do have other stuff. Yes, we have resources. Yes, there's courses and coaching. Yes, you can get into our program. Yes, we can recommend groups that you can get connected to give you all those other pieces. But without all those 4 things, all the rest means nothing. So look for the right things first.
Maybe this is a topic on a different podcast, okay?
Now we're having this conversation.
Now we're having a conversation.
When no one's really listening
Everybody's
except
checked
everybody.
out. Okay. There was a comment. I don't know if you saw this on one of our podcasts that says that's easy for you to say when you have $1 million in the bank.
Oh, I saw one podcast that says, I love how these people say stupid stuff like this when they got lucky and they're rich.
That's what it was. Something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to talk about that.
Talk about that guy.
guy.
Dude, you don't want to, let's go into your story and my story. Yeah.
Yeah, we got calluses, gang.
I remember Kraft macaroni and cheese in the fridge and a bottle of ketchup, and that was the only thing there with a cart. I mean,
you make tomato soup out of that, buddy. That's a full meal.
Yeah, you get some hamburger and mix up in there, and you got 2 different meals.
Yeah,
I mean, we can figure all that out, but
we'll talk about that at a different time. But we hope this is valuable for you guys. Again, you got to have opportunities, a sales system, strong working knowledge of 3 carriers at least, and that dog in you, the grit.
Grit.
Go make it happen. We can't wait to catch up with you on the next Life Insurance Academy podcast. See you then.